Welcome to Making Open Data Publishing Achievable. We hope that you'll be able to take home from this webinar a clearer plan for moving your data publishing remit forward. For those of you new to Thales and Kasabi, Thales are a software company with a 40-year history and have been building Kasabi, which is a data hosting and marketplace platform. We also think that the tools that we've built into Kasabi are useful for individual organisations in order to help them build their own places for sharing and accessing data. Thales Systems Limited have helped, among others, the Ordnance Survey, Office of National Statistics, data.gov.uk and the British Library get to grips with how to publish data as 5-star linked open data. What are the 5 stars, and why should you aim for the 5 stars? On the web, open licensed. Get your data out there in any form for others to use under an open license, such as the Open Government License for Public Sector Information. Clear and unambiguous. For many, this is one of the significant steps because it often includes convincing other people in an organisation that this is a good place to put some focus. However, if you are lucky enough to have this task to your remit, then you are faced with a what to do next scenario. Star 2. Machine readable data. Make the data that you have just published readable by software. For example, if data has already been published in a nicely formatted PDF, there is a good chance that there is an Excel file available in addition. A non-proprietary format. Publish a CSV file as well, then it can be used in software and applications not dependent on a single software vendor. Star 4. Linked data. Rather than a loosely structured tabular data format where there might be relationships between rows in the table, Star 4 asks you to publish your data as richly structured data, capturing those relationships. You'll want to start using URLs as identifiers and reusing ways of describing people and places so that it can be easily recognized. Executing this step well is crucial to any final outcome. If you don't have well-described data, people will be unable to use it effectively. Star 5. Do the linking. Use identifiers from other datasets in your data to link out to the wider web of data. For example, if you are using a UK postcode, use the Ordnance Survey URI for it. Why? Well, there are several reasons. Some of these are transparency. Francis Maud recently reiterated David Cameron's commitment to making government more transparent through the opening up of data. Taking the initiative. Rather than being pushed, the Ordnance Survey wanted to be seen as a willing participant in the government's transparency agenda. They wanted to be seen to be doing this by default rather than by dictate. Wouldn't it be great to report to your director that you have already been working towards the government's transparency agenda and have made significant steps? Well, that's what the Ordnance Survey wanted to do. Accountability. This is both internal and external accountability. Externally, the release of council spending data didn't reveal any great surprises. But that same release of data does give councils a chance to start to work more smartly internally by identifying common suppliers and potentials for contract negotiations. Incremental development. All the projects that we have worked on have shared this same feature. The BBC was able to incrementally convert several sets of core data in a prioritised fashion, sometimes by the same teams, but often by disparate teams. In each case, the project data output was used to add value to the existing corpus of data. Even now, the Olympics data website is being built on their vast collection of data under the hood. You really don't have to do everything in one go. The output of several smaller initiatives are equally valid, and their usefulness increases with each new project. Discoverable. If you link to other people, there is a good chance they will link to you. This makes your data more easily findable on the web of data. This also allows your data to stand on the shoulders of other data giants. The Ordnance Survey have already published data about postcodes. You could no doubt make good use of that postcode data too. Reusable. The neutral data format used in 4- and 5-star data allows people to easily use your data in their existing applications. Self-describing. You don't need to know in advance what those obscure column headings in the CSV file mean. You can just ask the data to tell you, because the data is self-describing. This means that meaning is embedded within the data. And because it's exciting. No, really. There'll be someone out there who spots your data and suddenly realises that that burning question can now be answered by mixing your data with some other stuff he already had. We don't know what those questions are, and that is exciting. There is an opportunity to explore the social impact your data might have in other unknown contexts. The reuse of your data could also lead to new business using that data, or existing businesses being supported by the addition of your data as context to what they already do. Who has already done this? The Ordnance Survey. They wanted to be first. They wanted to continue their mission and work to be the digital backbone of geographic data in the UK. And already their open data is being used in many of the datasets that require a location, and in apps like the Fix My Street app. They didn't want to be made to do it. Instead of ticking a remit box or waiting until a requirement was placed on them, the OS wanted to take the step themselves. They wanted to be able to open their data up in a way that worked for them. Why did they work with Thales? Well, they wanted to concentrate on their data, and they wanted to leave the infrastructure considerations for later. They recognised that time spent worrying about infrastructure was time they could not spend on their data, and it would run out. We are now about to enter a third year of hosting with the OS, and are working to explore ways to give them more channels for providing that data. One of the main reasons the British Library have opened up their data is because they see it as a way of indicating to government that they are able to support new business in using that data, and they want to report on that. Similar to the OS, the British Library wanted to use Thales to host the data so that they could concentrate on the data. The focus on the data has seen the British Library becoming an international authority on modelling their data in this way. Being a thought leader is important to them. Data.gov.uk had a remit to host data from many different government departments. Again, questions of hosting the data and providing scalable access to it became prevalent. For the same reasons as the British Library and Ordnance Survey, they went with third-party providers to host the data so they could concentrate on building the interface. As part of the UK Location Programme, the Office of National Statistics are looking to publish identifiers for all locations that they know about and have statistical data for. Similar to the OS, they know that this is core data from which other datasets can grow. It is also the data that allows several domain-specific datasets to talk about the same lower super output areas, or any other special entity relevant to statistics. What was their experience? Well, they were forced to look at their data more closely. It sounds scary, but this is an important point. The release of spending data last year allowed councils and government departments to assess some of the impacts that data would have. It allowed people to readdress the worth of their data, to see that their data, as perceived by other departments and other institutions, had value. People found that working iteratively allowed quicker feedback and better stakeholder engagement within the project. That agile approach was very useful for allowing them to be able to publish data within a short time frame, very quickly, typically within 1 or 2 months. In some cases, we were able to include additional data that was previously too awkward to consider incorporating into a dataset because of time or cost restraints, and to improve the data quality of the resultant dataset. What are they doing next? Well, improving linkage. The development of links in data means that applications using the data can become richer by drawing in context from those linked datasets. They're exploring data reuse. They're looking at options to encourage data reuse through hack days and sponsored web or mobile applications, or through internal reuse of data to inform decision-making in other departments. They're improving data access. The Ordnance Survey are wanting to provide further endpoints to their data to enable more developers to use it. And they're improving citizen engagement and encouraging it and exploring how to do it. There's an opportunity for organisations to explore how they can use their new open data to engage with the public in innovative ways. What are they not doing next? Well, they're not trying to guess what people will do with their data in advance. As soon as you start trying to do this, you'll tie yourself in knots and the innovation just doesn't happen. So what does a linked data project look like? Step 1. Identify source data to be published and who your organisational experts are. Step 2. Bring the team to a shared understanding of the project goals and the technical vocabulary for tools that will be used within the project. Step 3. Data is descriptive information about real things, so describe these things and their relationships to each other and the wider world. Step 4. Translate data from the existing source to the new descriptive data model. Step 5. Identify links with other datasets that are already published. Step 6. Publish the linked data and provide ways for people to reuse that data. We found that a 1 or 2 day workshop would give good shape to an initial description of the data, which could then be improved iteratively during the conversion. Step 4 is dependent on your developers, but will typically take a week or 2 working iteratively. Step 5 has a research element, which is often a part of the data modelling workshop, but final generation of links may be either incorporated into Step 4 or a separate task, and may take from 1 to 5 days or more depending on individual cases. Step 6 is commonly, if you're hosting your data with Talis, a 1-day setup and data load. Obviously, if you're using your own infrastructure, this may be different. After you've taken the first step to Star 1, Talis can help you move through the remaining stars by facilitating training and workshops. But what are your costs? I know your manager's going to ask this. Mine certainly does. The ultimate costs vary, as with any project, depending on where you are starting from. The main factors are perhaps the number of people you have on the team and maybe the size or complexity of the data. But there could be other factors for your project. This additional publishing channel often sits easily alongside existing data management tools and doesn't require the creation of whole new systems or bespoke upgrades to existing systems. We can typically take data in an exported format and work with that. If you would like to know more about how to cost a project like this, then please talk to us. In summary, concentrate on your data first, because that's where the value really lies. The infrastructure is easily dealt with. Don't ask what will the public do with it, because that will stifle innovation. Be a thought leader. Be seen to be taking those steps, but they don't have to be big steps. Small projects are easier to work with. And keep talking. Keep talking to other people in your domain and us. Thank you for your time. If you do want to know more, please contact us.